I wanted to fix it, and our running back takes things like biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on this Thursday edition. We have Tony Christian Ford joining us as she does on Thursdays, as well as Chase Brunfeld pressing all the buttons behind the scenes for us. Today we're going to continue the conversation that we started at the end of the show yesterday about the transfers and the impact that they will have on Nate Oates' 2025-2026 team. We'll go in depth about how they as a whole will impact the season and if there will be any changes in the style that Oates brings onto the court with the length that has been added. We also got a lot of recruiting news. Number one linebacker that Alabama has been pursuing heavily has decommitted from the school that he was at and has set up official visits. Bama's got a couple more 5-stars that have set official visits up throughout the course of the summer. So Bama's still hitting the recruiting trail hard. Don't have a lot of commits in-house yet, but we're going to get to see the impact that they have throughout the course of the summer as we continue with that.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by Box Eye Care. Live, local, ready to get things rolling. Remember, it's the sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. And what does that mean? That means the phone lines are always open, 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904, the Empowerment Strategy Solutions Hotline. Call us up and tell us what you're thinking, react, comment, etc. And remember, it's 2025, so we also have a live stream option as well. Just put it in the chat, the same comments, reactions, responses. Hey, listen, if we're talking about something and you want to go somewhere else, it's the sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. So just put it in and we'll answer that question or take it in that direction as well. We'll quickly wrap up that transfer portal conversation, as well as, dig a little deeper on the general manager. Chaos that I think is coming as general managers are starting to take a new role. And based on time, we'll start some of the conversation around the win totals. They have dropped those out. The top teams only getting predicted to have 9.5 wins in the SEC. Who are those top teams? They got, the top three teams coming out at 9.5 wins. Is Alabama in that mix? If not, did they miss it or did they get it right? And then we'll look at, some of the challengers that they think may also jump up into that conversation. But it's 9.5 wins. Do you have to get the over to get to the playoffs? If that's the right prediction, 9.5, 10 wins. Does SEC get more than one team in the playoffs? We'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show. And like I said, if we don't get to it today, we'll just kick it to tomorrow on a Free for All Friday. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice, be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. And in the pre-show prep, TC, I'm sorry, I told you, I told her I've been calling her TC for 19 years, but we want you to know who Tony Christian Ford. You and I talked about a couple things. One of them relevant to yesterday's conversation. Fallon had skipped out on the scrimmage at the NBA Combine, and we thought that may insinuate that he may be coming back, but it seemed like there may have been some news yesterday. You have any update on is Fallon coming back to Bama or not?
No, he signed with the agent yesterday, so that means he's 100% committed to the NBA draft.
All right. Now, Tony Christian, is that good or bad? With all of the new guys coming in, is it good, bad, indifferent? What do you think? I mean, I know he's a big-time player, but
I think it'll be fine. I think we just need to start building from what we have from now.
X, what's your thoughts? I know we said yesterday you get him back, but we were talking about this class that Nate Oates has coming in. It could be good for next year, but could it hurt down the stretch? Because if Fallon came back, somebody was dropping out of the rotation. Somebody was going to the bench that's been practicing or looking to come in, because you have the 3 freshmen coming in and the 4 transfers, and a couple of those guys are guards. So, and of course, if the kid from Miami comes in and plays the way we expect him to play, and Fallon comes back, that also puts Holloway deeper out of the rotation. I mean, so good, bad, indifferent. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it can be a really good thing. I mean, LeBaron Fallon is a really good player. We're not going to deny that. So it's a situation where is it going to sting a little bit to lose him? Sure, but I think we can find a way to replace his production with who we have brought in, whether that be one of the transfers or one of the freshmen stepping up, or, a Latrell Wrightsell coming back from injury. There's a lot of ways to replace those minutes, replace that production throughout the lineup. It doesn't have to be one singular player to do it, but can be spread throughout a lot of the new additions or guys returning from injury, or even Holloway stepping up and giving you more minutes. So, yeah, it stings, but I think Alabama and Nate Oates can do a fairly well job of figuring out how to replace him.
I think had he been a shock to go into the NFL draft, then this would be a bad thing. But I think from about midway of the season, or when he started really getting that conversation, I think Nate Oates and company started recruiting that he would be gone. So if I was leading this program, I would have been building my team with him being gone.
Without him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and Nate Oates has been talking as if he said we're getting great feedback and all that. So to me, it's probably a positive in the sense that Nate Oates was building with the anticipation of him. Now, you don't ever turn down a first-round talent for your basketball team. But like I said, because X, he was a guy that was already looking to go, they started talking about in the first round. I think Nate Oates started recruiting and things as if Fallon was a one-and-done type of guy. So, and to me, at worst, it's net neutral. At best, chemistry may be better without him.
Yeah, and I do believe Alabama probably was keeping a scholarship spot open for him until he officially made a decision. And now that he has officially made his decision, there's a player out there that Nate Oates has probably had his eyes on that, hey, for whether it's a match replacement, or if it's, hey, we can get somebody else at another position of need. We'll see that. Boogie Fland, he just withdrew from the NBA draft. He's a point guard. He's a playmaker that was at Arkansas this past year. That's an interesting name to watch out. He was one of the top players in the country a year ago coming out of high school. So that's somewhere to look potentially. I don't know much about it yet. It was kind of interesting. Fland decides to withdraw the next day. Fallon decides to stay in. But there is probably a player or two on Nate Oates' board of, hey, LeBaron made a decision. This is who we're going to pursue.
Yeah, absolutely. So, TC, were there any other I think Caitlin DeVore made a couple statements yesterday, update our audience on just kind of a couple things happening around Alabama football, and then we'll get to break real quick.
Okay. He said Ryan Williams will be back for the summer. He didn't say exactly what injury he had, but we know he wasn't in A-Day, and he hasn't been practicing in the spring. He also gave an update on the kicker, the freshman, since we just lost one to the draft. He said his name's Alex Asparo. Is that how you say it?
That's rough.
Okay, and he's from Hoover, and he was coming in with a knee injury, and he's saying he's coming back and better than ever. He's working on his recovery, but he should be back, and he's moving smooth. And then he also said that Ty Simpson is leading the quarterback room right now, and I know quarterback is the big talk right now, but he said the other quarterbacks aren't far behind him, but right now with Ty already having the reps and him being behind Jalen a couple years, he is leading, and if he were to start right now, it would be him.
Yeah, and that's actually good news. I mean, I would be really disappointed if that wasn't the statement about Ty Xavier. I mean, the guy's been here. He as a quarterback goes, as a 5-star quarterback goes, he's an old dude. Like, he's old.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they talked about being, I don't know if you saw this. This is a crazy stat that Manning is the only 5-star quarterback out of his class that has not transferred. All the 5-star quarterbacks that came out with Manning has transferred. And I bet you, is it 2 of them now?
Cade Klubnik and Ty Simpson are the only 2 from their class that haven't transferred.
And that's what I was going to say. And if you look at Ty, but when you look at Ty, the reason I was going to make that analogy is Ty Klubnik has started for 1.5 years, right? Because technically he started, 2.5. So that's why he hadn't transferred. But Ty is the guy who has stayed, which is impressive, and we're hoping that that's going to pay huge dividends. We haven't talked much about this, X and Tony Christian, so we may, get to that at some point in the future. Alabama doesn't have any kickers that we know. I mean, it's been a while since we've had both kickers, and that you don't talk a lot about special teams, but as Coach Stalley used to say, it's 1/3 of the game. Not meaning 1/3 of the plays, but it's 1/3 of the games. You will fool around and lose a game if you don't put emphasis on it, on your punt team and on your special teams. So I'm hoping that Alabama is able to step up in that way. We're going to go ahead and get the break here. Coming back out, X, we'll let you talk a little recruiting. We'll also get Pat, who wants to talk a little recruiting. And I also saw something about always in 2027, Alabama being on some top wide receivers list. Does this offseason lock us in with him if we're already on that list? Ty Simpson, we need you to come through so we can get that top wide receiver. We'll talk about those conversations and more right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, with Tony Christian Ford sitting in with us today.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good Thursday morning to you. We're getting off to a nice and quiet start along the Tuscaloosa freeways. Side streets are also moving smooth. If you're taking a drive on 2059 from 359 to past Joe Malisham, that is inside the construction zone. You may slow down just a skosh on the westbound side. And we're moving smooth on Skyland Boulevard at McFarland. That's only intersection. Brief slow goes there. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Townsend Nissan on Skyland Boulevard has all tariff-free new Nissans in stock and ready to be discounted for immediate sales. You've got to shop Townsend Nissan for huge savings right now. Townsend Nissan Tuscaloosa.
The new ride you've been dreaming of awaits at Pearl River Resort. Every Friday and Saturday, your chance to win a new car gets closer. During our Drive into May event, you could be one of the lucky winners drawn every hour to enter the final May 31st drawing for a brand new car. Plus, each lucky winner gets $300 in bonus bet prizes. Drive into winnings today at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Must be 21 or older to play.
The perfect time to upgrade your carpet is right now. Get free carpet installation with the purchase of Home Decorators Collection Special Order Carpet. Give your floors a new, softer feel from timeless and trendy options with the performance to support everyday life. Refresh your carpet today with the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 1st, 2025. Receive free basic carpet installation with the purchase of Home Decorators Collection Special Order Carpet. Excludes stock carpet.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
Outlets sparking, lights are glowing. Don't do it yourself or you'll be glowing. Call Taylor Electric. We do it all. Taylor Electric. Give the boss man a call.
Call or text 205-553-0958.
Fair pricing is what we do. Taylor Electric, we are here for you.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny and very warm today. The high in the upper 80s at 88. For tonight, mostly fair with a low at 70. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high at 89. Saturday, a few widely scattered showers or storms around with a high at 86. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 70 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show. It's Martin Xavier as it is Thursday. Of course, this is the day of recruiting, and we have Tony Christian Ford with us. Before we get deep into it, we've got Pat joining us on the Empowerment Strategy Solutions hotline. How you doing this morning, Pat?
Hey, good morning, X. I've been missing you, man. Really glad to see you back with us full time.
Yes, sir.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about wide receiver. As deep as a wide receiver class is, I kind of feel like we're going to take possibly 3 wide receivers in this class. Are you you feel confident about that number?
I am confident for 2. I am confident for 2, but I think there could be a third. The 2 big targets on our list is the Darian Morgan out of Benjamin Russell. He's a guy that we're going to talk about. Go ahead. He's committing July 2nd. It's Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Colorado, Clemson, and Georgia on his top 6. So be looking out for him. And then, of course, Booby Feaster, who is reclassifying from the 2027 class. He is committing this summer as well. He doesn't have a set date for his commitment, though, but it's supposed to be sometime in July. And then I think there's an opportunity for a third wide receiver. One name to kind of keep an eye out for. He's an up-and-comer. His name is Kino Rego. He is at Spain Park this year, but last year he played at Tuscaloosa Academy, led the state in receiving yards with almost 1,600. So he's a third guy to keep an eye out as his stock has been growing throughout the spring and the summer. And I think the move to a bigger school will play a big impact on how his recruiting goes. He's right now listed as a 3-star.
Yeah. X, hold on, Pat. X, that's interesting. He's bumping up. It could do 2 things. It could explode his recruiting, or he could find out that there's a whole new world in that 7A ball. But I wish the young man the best. I hope that he does it. 2 questions for you to address before Pat responds. Is it who all is actually eligible? Because to me, that's kind of what determines how many they sign. They may take a couple, like going into the season. I think they would only take 2 commitments based on how the season goes. Who else is eligible other than Bernard to leave?
Jeremy Bernard is the only one who will officially run out of eligibility after this season. But then you have Isaiah Horton, who is draft eligible. He's the same class as Bernard, but he redshirted, so he's a redshirt junior. And then that's it. It was actually crazy. I was looking. There are only 24 juniors, redshirt juniors, from juniors to redshirt seniors on this team. Only 24. So you got a bunch of redshirt sophomores, but most of this team is underclassmen. So I don't know. Horton could have a good enough year. Bernard's out of eligibility, but you could see portal hits because of how many of these guys are true sophomores or redshirt freshmen or true freshmen.
Yeah, and so the other question I ask on that is because you have so many young guys and you don't want to lose them in the portal, do you potentially see Alabama making some noise in the 2027 class like they already have, the kid that committed back in November, Alexander Ward, and now Alabama's on another top receiver in terms of the 2027 class. Is it possible you see Alabama only take a couple guys, 1 or 2 guys, in anticipation that these guys are going to be ready to play? You're going to have Williams as a 3rd-year guy. You're going to have Hale, and you're going to have some of these guys that have been in your program for 3 to 4 years, and instead of you pushing them out in the portal for a freshman, you kind of let them be the dog, balance it out from a transfer portal standpoint if somebody leaves or something like that. What are your thoughts there?
That's something that potentially could happen, and I forgot about Hale having redshirted. So he's a redshirt junior. Cole Adams is a redshirt sophomore as well. So you have technically 4 guys that are draft eligible, but I only see Horton being the underclassman to leave. But that's something that could potentially happen. But what could get you caught up in that is Ryan's most likely gone after his junior year. You have a Rico Scott who's talented enough if he gets on the field to be gone. Hale could be gone. You could fool around and lose 4 guys, 3 or 4 guys like you had when you had the ride out of Rhodes, Judy, and Smitty and all those guys leave at one time. And now you're going, oh, man, this is really young and we don't have anybody that's been on campus. That's why I see them potentially signing a 3rd guy.
No, I didn't say they wouldn't sign a 3rd guy. I said you only sign 2 up front. And then
I think you bring going into the season.
And then you bring that 3rd guy in from a 1-year guy in the portal. In other words, we're in a new world of roster management now. You see what I'm saying? Like in the old days, I would totally agree with what you're saying. But if you bring in 3 guys in this class, and all of a sudden those 3 guys come in early, you could lose those same guys that you're talking about losing. You could lose them in the spring portal versus getting a couple young guys. Maybe they come in, you now have that class, that's what it is, and then you're able to backfill once you get out of spring from the transfer portal. And then you also have a couple of top dogs. And that's the way you get those top 5-star receivers. You go out and find another Ryan Williams. Sorry, Pat, you brought up the topic. I'm going to let you get back in on it. What else you got for us?
Yeah. Xavier Morgan is the number 1 receiver in Alabama. That I feel real confident that Xavier Morgan is going to be in this class, as well as most talking heads do. Now, Bobby Feaster is going to officially visit, or Booby Feaster is going to officially visit Alabama on May the 30th. He's the number 41 overall wide receiver in the country. All right, now, I've located another receiver that's going to officially visit Alabama on June the 13th down in St. Augustine High School. He's 6'2", 180 pounds. His name is Samorian Wingo. All right, now Samorian Wingo is a burner, y'all. And before you say something, I realize we don't play at 400 meters, but this guy runs a 53-second or so 400 meters. He's a great leaper. He's also averages 16 points on basketball and had one basketball game this past year that he scored 35 points in. So he's an all-around great athlete.
Well,
but the fact that I'm listening.
Why you tell me not to say anything? I only say something when you talk about speed when it's irrelevant. For a wide receiver that can run fast and jump high, those are great traits. For a linebacker that can run fast, it don't necessarily mean anything if he won't stick his head in there and hit anybody. So I agree with everything you just explained about that kid makes them better. In Pat, more important than his 50 or 400 or whatever you said, and all that is the fact that he plays another sport at a high level. Most people don't realize this. Most of these guys who are 5 stars that only play one sport or 4 stars, they end up washing out because they don't have the muscle maturity and all of that stuff in the other areas that it takes to be an elite college player. Nick Saban and Urban Meyer used to not recruit a guy if he only played one sport unless he was absolute elite. They didn't want them. Most of the guys, and so he fits the bill to be a special player.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to touch on is that, that we're going to be. I think we have a real good shot at getting that 5-star running back, which I think is going to be a 5-star running back. Crowell, we get his last official visit, y'all, and that's the very, very important thing to have it be the last person in his ear.
The last should be first, Pat. The first should be last, and the last should be first. So we're going to be first on his list after he takes his last visit. Thanks, Pat. We appreciate you, man. Have a good one. All right, X coming back on the other side. we'll let you get back into that recruiting conversation. Any other updates you have there? And remember, hey, it's the sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. And Pat just took over that whole segment. And that's what we do here. If you have a thought, comment, we invite it in and we'll react to it and comment on it and talk about it. It is the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good Thursday morning to you. We're getting off to a nice and quiet start along the Tuscaloosa freeways. Side streets are also moving smooth. If you're taking a drive on 2059 from 359 to past Joe Malisham, that is inside the construction zone. You may slow down just a skosh on the westbound side. And we're moving smooth on Skyland Boulevard at McFarland. That's only intersection. Brief slow goes there. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
Reigning 7-time ACM and CMA Vocal Group of the Year, Old Dominion. How good is that? World Tour with Ernest and special guest Red Farron. Friday, June 13th at Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Old Dominion. One incredible night of country music you don't want to miss.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyland Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa. Or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
Most protein bars are packed with sugar, carbs, and unpronounceable ingredients. There's a much better option. I'm Will, and I crafted IQ Bar plant protein bars with clean, functional, delicious ingredients to empower doers like you with superior brain and body fuel.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text EAT to 64,000. That's EAT to 64,000.
Don't risk losing the trusted news, traffic, sports, and weather you get from AM radio stations. It's time to make your voice heard. We need Congress to pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act to keep AM radio in cars. When internet and cell services are out, AM could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179 and tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
righty, welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, man. Hey, Tony Christian, you learning that we just kind of flow with our listening audience. We always prepare topics. We talked about the 10 wins. Looks like we're probably going to have to kick that to tomorrow. I mean, not the 10 win, but the total number of wins. We talked about that, of course. So we'll probably not get to that today because we haven't even got into the recruiting, and we're 2 segments in. Coming out of the break at halftime, people love to know what's going on in the recruiting trail. It used to be a certain time of the year you talk recruiting. They have to talk it year round because these kids are taking visits and making decisions and all of that. So I'll toss it to you to kind of give our listening audience an update on what's happening.
Yeah, they're going to kick things off with an in-state 5-star. We already talked about Xavier Morgan making his decision on July 2nd in his top 6, but 5-star edge Anthony Tank Jones out of St. Paul's in Mobile. He's got his visit listed out for the summer. Starting this weekend, he's going to be at Auburn. He's got Auburn, Miami, Texas A&M, Oregon, but he wraps up with Alabama on June 20th through the 22nd. And as we stated, it is great to get that last visit in with a player, be the last ones in their ear when they're getting ready to make that decision. And for St. Paul's has really helped Alabama out in the past. That's Mark Barron and A.J. McCarron's alma mater, as well as Jake Coker. So guys that came to Bama, played for national championships, won national championships. The big news that took place yesterday was 5-star number 1 linebacker in the country, Xavier Griffin, who is out of Gainesville High School in Georgia. He plays edge, outside linebacker, inside linebacker. He decommitted from USC, and he's got 4 visits set up this summer. Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, Florida State. He's been a huge priority for Alabama so far. They never stopped recruiting him. Coach Robinson is his main recruiter. He's been putting in a lot of work with him. So that'll be interesting to see now that he's decommitted and doesn't even have a visit set to return to USC at the moment. Another linebacker, Nick Abrams out of McDonough High School in Maryland. He's a 4-star. He had an in-home visit with linebacker coach Chuck Morrell yesterday. He has his official visit June 13th through the 15th. Big-time prospect that Bama's been going in after. So Bama's going heavy after linebackers in this class, edge rushers in this class. As we can see, that's kind of been a big priority with his staff. And as you mentioned, the 2027 class with the number 1 wide receiver, Munshawn Sales, he got his offer officially from Alabama earlier this week. He said that he's growing up, it's been his dream school. I think with what you see with Alabama, with Brian Williams, Bernard, Horton, and the host of guys, it'll make a really good impression on him. We'll have to see how that plays out. Continuing 2027 class, 5-star edge Chris Whitehead out of Virginia. 6'5", 210 pounds already going into his junior year. He just picked up an offer from Alabama. So it's really interesting to kind of watch which positions in each class are becoming priorities and where Alabama's wanting to go. Because when you look at the 2027 class, Pierre's going to be going into his senior year. Rusaw's going to be going into his senior year. You don't have Latham anymore. Hill will be a junior. It'll be really watching those guys as far as where they progress and where Bama goes after. But that's really it for football. Any questions about where Alabama might be going?
Not at this point, Tony Christian. Do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay.
And switching over to basketball real quick. Alabama just offered Gage Mayfield in the 2026 class, a 6'8" small forward / power forward from Hill County. For those who don't know, that's where Herb Jones played his high school ball at. That's right down the road. The big offer for an in-state kid for Alabama basketball as well.
Well, awesome. Good to see. Hopefully we can get some of the same results we got from if we can land a kid from Hill County as we got from Herb Jones. X, since you just ended that conversation on basketball, go ahead and kind of wrap up that thought that we talked about Bama having the 4 transfers, all of those guys bringing in some unique skill sets, having the 3 freshmen that's coming in. You know, Nate Oates' biggest challenge is what going into the, in your opinion, what do you think Nate Oates' biggest challenge is as he tries to duplicate, you know, what Alabama did last year in the last 2 years?
Chemistry. I think it has to be the chemistry aspect. Well, right now you have 7 new players. Like we mentioned earlier with Phylon officially being locked in with the draft, you could potentially have 8 new players to this team. So that's, you know, half of your scholarship players. So there's going to be a lot of chemistry building over the summer into the off season as he tries to, as you say, replicate what he's done. You can't duplicate it. Guys are gone, guys are left, but you can replicate it in a certain way. And it's going to be interesting to see how with the length of this team, because nobody new to this team at this point is up under being listed at 6'5". All the freshmen, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". The transfers, 6'5", 6'8", 6'10", 7 foot. You know, these guys are all long, and how that could potentially change a little bit of the dynamics of how he runs his offense and the defensive scheme, because I think he gives you a lot more versatility, especially on the defensive side, when you have that much length across the board.
Yeah, that's awesome. TC, really, it's, you know, I think, you know, normally you would say, is it a reload year or is it a rebuild year? I think with the craziness of the transfer portal, I guess you have to add another R word, replication. It may be the best way. Do you think Nate Oates can replicate with 7 new guys? Is he reloading, rebuilding, or replicating in terms of what should Alabama fans expect at this early point? Way too early for basketball. What do you think Alabama fans' expectations should be?
I think he's rebuilding because you can't compare these guys to like Mark, who's like 5'10" maybe. Now you're bringing in like 6'8" guys. So I think he's rebuilding, and you're not going to be able to like compare him from the old team. It's going to be a whole new team, but his coaching ways will probably be the same.
Eggs, your thoughts on that? Good.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the word replication, because this team is going to be a lot different with what you see when, and I'm going to harp on it until the length of this team is so different from last year's team. When you're talking about Holloway and Wrightsell being the short guys on this team at 6'2", 6'3", you know, compared to, you know, Mark coming out and we're saying he's 5'10" and some change, and Youngblood playing the small forward at 6'4". This team is going to be long, so I think you can replicate the success, but with the transfer portal, it's hard to say it's a rebuild because you're bringing in guys that have a ton of experience and have played at the collegiate level, and a reload is when you have mostly the same guys coming back, and this is going to be a brand new team.
Yeah, absolutely. Where we're going to go on the other side so we can get ready to get out of here and put some thought into this fourth quarter?
We can get into the general manager conversation and win totals to wrap this show up. I think that'd be a really good topic to talk about on the other side.
All right. We'll be back in just a minute.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Out in Cottondale, found a fender bender on 2059, moving in that southwest direction at Keens Mill Road. Now, no delays at all for that. Pretty much moving right along around it. And then coming over to the construction zone on 2059 again on the westbound lanes, west of Joe Malisham. You're going to slightly tap on those brakes from that road construction as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Townsend Nissan on Skyland Boulevard has all tariff-free new Nissans in stock and ready to be discounted for immediate sales. You've got to shop Townsend Nissan for huge savings right now. Townsend Nissan Tuscaloosa.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
We all know Tuscaloosa and West Alabama temperatures can make life miserable. That old and unreliable AC unit is not going to make it any better. It's time to get comfortable with a Better Service Company, your authorized train dealer for West Alabama, specializing in AC and heating solutions that fit your budget. A Better Service Company offers prompt, reliable service. Want to upgrade to a new system or just need a tune-up? Call a Better Service Company at 205-366-9377 or online at abetterserviceco.com. AL cert number 09149. It's hard to stop a train.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout, food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at The Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's The Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road, just past Sokol Park. That's The Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
It happens more than you think. A customer wants, no needs the goods and services your business offers. No matter how hard they try, they can't find you. But they find your competitor right there at the top of the results page.
And even if they do find your website, when they click, it's like a ghost town.
Hello?
Outdated, not compelling, and perhaps worse, it has information that's not accurate.
Y2K? But how do you fix that? At Town Square Interactive, we have the tools to help you maximize your online presence. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com and start by getting a free local customer analysis.
This online tool will show you just how many customers in your area you could be reaching. To get in front of those customers, we will build a premium website for your business.
One that shows up well in web searches and converts website clicks into phone calls, appointments, and foot traffic.
It's simple, it's fast, and it's affordable. Go to mylocalcustomers.com and get started by getting your free local customer analysis today.
Into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We have Tony Christian joining us today as we get ready to get out of here. We kick out this fourth quarter. Got a question for you. Who's coaching your leaders, the ones who are responsible for building your people, your team, and your culture? If you're relying on outdated training and cookie-cutter development to grow your people, you're setting your organization up for mediocrity and not maximization. Coach to Coaches, the flagship program of empowerment strategy and solutions, brings consistency across your organization by developing high-potential individuals, equipping established leaders to build winning teams, and empowering stakeholders to create a championship culture from the front line to the boardroom. Coach Houston, that's me. Of course, we'll personally coach your coaches to lead with clarity, coach with confidence, and develop others with purpose. You ready to elevate your impact? Schedule an impact strategy meeting by going to martinhouston.org and clicking on a meeting request, because great coaches build great teams, and great teams thrive in championship cultures. Remember, Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. At Empowerment Strategies and Solutions, we're empowering better people, stronger teams, and championship cultures. That's martinhouston.org. Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. X, take it away.
All right, getting back into the conversation, the win totals. I haven't seen the win totals.
I don't think let's do the general manager's conversation.
Okay.
Since we started that yesterday as a conversation, and we'll kick win totals tomorrow. I'll give you a little chance to research it.
Okay. So the general manager conversation that we talked about yesterday is kind of which way you see it going. Does the general manager supersede the coach? Is the general manager an assistant to the coach? You know, in the NFL, it's weird because sometimes the general manager and the head coach is the same person. Sometimes the general manager, it works that way in the NFL. Sometimes they take more from what the general manager says. Sometimes the general manager is there just to assist the head coach. So which way do you see it moving toward in college football? Because we're still seeing that split. Like Courtney Morgan is an assistant to Kalen DeBoer, but we see some places where, and like you said yesterday, and Andrew Luck is the guy that got Troy Taylor fired.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tug of war for a little while. Because it's the same way. This still happens in the NFL. You see general managers get fired because they went against the coach's wishes. Nick Saban was at Alabama because of a general manager and an ownership decision to not sign Drew Brees. Because Nick Saban was like, I played against this guy. I don't believe that the injury is that big a deal. I believe he'll be fine. And of course, he went to the Saints and took them to the glory land. And of course, I forgot the quarterback that Saban signed that ended up getting hurt. Culpepper. And then of course Saban was back in Tuscaloosa. So I think you're going to see that battle wage for a little while. And we're not going to solve this today. We'll have this a part of Free for All Friday, probably as well. But when I look at it, X, I think it's really going to be a mixed bag in some way. Like the way it's happening at Alabama, I don't see that changing, because I think the athletic director is going to pick the coach. Okay. All right. And especially in this situation, and the coach brings in his guy. Some of these other programs, X, that have athletic directors that have zero clue about football, zero clue about building a program or any of that. I have said it for years that you should have an athletic director at Alabama that's only focus should be football. I think that's what you're going to see in some of these general manager roles. I think they're going to become the pseudo athletic director that really runs the football program, that oversees it. And so now, like Andrew Luck fired the coach. Andrew Luck.
And that's kind of like a question that I had. How long till we see a general manager get a spot and end up being the head coach?
I think you're going to see that. I'm not sure that Stanford didn't consider it this year. I think that's going to be the case. TC, are you abreast of this craziness of what's going on with college football? And there may be a lot of other listeners that don't. So that's I'll take a moment. Like I said, we'll kick the conversation to tomorrow to dig a little deeper, because I think it's going to be a battle of how it works out. But what traditionally has happened is you hire athletic director, hires a head coach hires a recruiting coordinator. Okay. Now they have changed the some people still have recruiting coordinators and a general manager, but really the general manager is over roster management. Recruiting director really just goes out to find recruits. Okay. Then there's the who's in the portal. So somebody has to be hired for that. Then there's who may go into the portal that we need to be making sure that we're keeping them locked in with our team. So that's kind of the three big things. And then they also have NIL responsibility, managing that and managing those relationships. So the general manager role is going to be something that's needed. The big battle, Tony Christian and listening audience, is going to be who's making the personnel decisions. Because in the NFL, what happens is a guy like Bill Belichick was the head coach. He had a general manager, but he was ultimately responsible for the final say on the personnel decisions. Other teams have a general manager and the coach. The general manager works for the owner and is responsible for the roster, even though they have a coach. And then there's some who have a general manager and a coach that works together. They kind of brainstorm. So that's going to be kind of the fight for what's to happen. So, Tony Christian, tell them where they can find you if they want to follow and keep up with you.
My Instagram is Tony Christian Ford, and my Facebook is Tony Christian Ford.
That's right. And she's, I told you, we teased it last week. She's going to be coming out soon with TC in the Trenches, Tony Christian in the Trenches, where we're going to be highlighting some big hog molly. So thanks for the input. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. That's Xavier Houston. That's Tony Christian Ford. I'm Martin Houston. That's Chase Brumfield. This is the Martin Houston Show, powered by Box Eye Care. We'll be back tomorrow for a Free-for-All Friday powered by TJ Pharmacy and Wellness. Roll Tide, everybody. And remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.